Welcome to Bangla City SATV News. This is Nuri Alamin with the headlines. BIWTA decides to bring the ship Rustom on the third day of rescue. Title ferry Amanat Shah capsized at Paturia. Bangladesh will no longer allow communal politics, said Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anisul Haq. Kumilla Court extends remand of Iqbal and 3 others for 5 more days in 2 cases, filed over placing Quran at Durga Puja venue. Bangladesh Inland Water Transport Authority BIWTA is not capable of rescuing the title ferry Amanat Shah, said its chairman Commodore Ghulam Sadiq today. This is why the ferry will be rescued using private rescue ships. However, vehicles that are still underwater will be rescued first, he told reporters while observing the rescue operation at the Paturia ferry terminal around noon today. Besides the rescue ship Hamza, another rescue ship Rustom is being brought from Mawa and it will reach Paturia by this evening, said the BIWTA chairman. Meanwhile, a truck was recovered around noon today. Altogether, 6 trucks, 5 covered vans and a motorcycle were recovered, and 3 motorcycles, 3 more trucks are still underwater. Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anisul Haq has said Bangladesh will no longer allow communal politics as long as the ideals of father of the nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman are alive. Our communal harmony will subsist, he also said. He said people didn't accept the violence conspired by vested quota for their own and personal gain. The minister was addressing an event at Akhaura Upazila Parishad Auditorium in Brahmanbaria on Friday. The program was organized by the administration of Akhaura Upazila on the occasion of handing over 2 life support ambulances donated by the Government of India for Brahmanbaria General Hospital and Akhaura Upazila Health Complex. Bikram Kumar Duraiswamy, India High Commissioner to Dhaka, attended the event as the guest of honor. A Kumilla court has extended remand of Iqbal Hussain and 3 others for 5 more days in 2 cases filed over placing Quran at the Durga Puja venue. Senior Judicial Magistrate Farhana Sultana extended their remand on Friday, allowing the petition for the police. Other remanded accused are Rejaul Islam Ikram, Darga Bari Mosque Assistant Khadem Faisal and Humayun Kabir Salahullah. Earlier on October 23rd, the accused were placed on remand for 7 days. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir criticized the government for failing to control prices of essentials. People are suffering a lot due to the rise of prices of rice, rental, oil, salt and other essentials as well. He was addressing a human chain organized by Jatiyatavadi Shecheshebak Dol, front of the Jatiyo Press Club in the capital, protesting the price spiral on Friday. A vested quota manipulates the market and the authorities remain silent spectator. He also said, adding the government was taken anti-people stand. Viewers, we're taking a short break. Stay with Bangla City SATV News. Welcome back, and we're watching Bangla City SATV News. Elsewhere across the world, G20 leaders who are scheduled to meet Rome for a 2-day summit beginning on Saturday have reportedly agreed to take immediate action to maintain the goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Reporters also said the leaders shared the view that they would stop funding foreign coal-fired plants. On domestic coal, the draft includes leader pledges to do so, their utmost to avoid the building new unabated coal power generation capacity. It also taking their own national circumstances into the account. They also acknowledged the relevance of achieving global net zero greenhouse gas emissions or carbon neutrality going forward. The statement also says that they will reduce global methane emissions by at least 30% below 2020 levels by 2030. The leaders agreed also on achieving an annual $100 billion target for climate financing for developing countries, but the details have yet to be detailed. The statement is seen as a key stepping stone ahead for a broader UN climate summit next week in Glasgow. Meanwhile, after a fateful day of talks over the fate of twin infrastructure and social spending bills that he cast as a choice between the leading the world or letting the world passes by, Biden landed in Rome aboard Air Force One in the dark early on Friday, with the answer still undetermined. He did first to the Group of 20 summit in Rome and then to Glasgow, Scotland for a UN climate summit. Biden will be pressed to deliver concrete ideas for stopping a global pandemic, boosting economic growth, and halting the acceleration of climate change. Those stakes might seem a bit high for the pair of two-day gatherings attended by the global elite and their entourage, but it's written right into the slogan for the meeting in Rome: people, planet, and prosperity. It was a reflection of his promise to align US diplomacy with the interest of the middle class. It could be harder to get the world to commit to the standard also goal if Americans rescue to fully embrace them. Meanwhile, protesters took the goal of the streets of Glasgow on Thursday, calling on the world leaders to go beyond the world and make a meaningful commitment to keep the world within 1.5-degree temperature, increase the threshold as well. They are in a full-blown climate crisis. World leaders have seen what is happening now in the time for them to come together here in Glasgow and hammer out a deal to avert the worst of the climate catastrophe. They also said the protests come as government leaders are set to convene in Glasgow next week to meet the year's deadline to commit to the more ambitious emissions, also cut pledges. Myanmar is also part of the ASEAN family, Brunei has said after a summit to the Southeast Asian Regional Group, which barred Myanmar General Min Aung Hlaing for this failure to implement a reconciliation plan agreed to the previous meeting in April month. Asked about the Myanmar's future rule following the unprecedented snub to the armed forces chief, Brunei Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah stressed the country's continued membership. Myanmar is an integral part of the ASEAN family and their membership has not been questioned, he also added. ASEAN will be always there for the Myanmar and they have continued to offer help through the implementation for the 5-point consensus. The pact also included commitment to start dialogue and facilitate humanitarian and also mediation effort by the special ASEAN envoy. Top oil executives have appeared before US lawmakers to face allegations they misled the public about climate change. Major producers were quizzed about the impact of the fossil fuels they profit from their environmental toll. The hearing on Thursday, which Democrats hailed as historic, made the first time oil bosses had answered questions publicly and under oath. The 6-hour session saw some heated exchanges with the firms such as BP and Shell facing through the question. But the executives on the ExxonMobil, Chevron, SP and Shell repeatedly spoke about the effort to transition to clean energy and denied misleading the public. The session, which saw a decade for the lobbying and public statement by America's biggest energy firm put under the spotlight, came just days before the start of the UN's COP26 climate conference. The China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin on Thursday warned that Taiwan's independence to doom to dead end, saying there is no country nor person should underestimate the will of Chinese people to defer their national sovereignty. Wang made the remark at a press conference basing their response in Taiwan President Xi Jinping's the recent interview in which she confirmed for the first time that the small number of the US forces are on the island to train with the local soldiers. The spokesperson slammed the military actions and called for the US to hold its interference in China's internal affairs. He also added that the cross-strained reunification for the overriding historical trend and the right course. Facebook on Thursday announced it would rebrand its company as Meta. The name change on the shows is ambition for the refocus the world's largest social media platform toward building the metaverse. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg at the company's live-streamed virtual and augmented reality conference stressed that the new brand name reflected its focus on building a new virtual realm rather than its namesake social media service. From now on, we are going to be metaverse first, not Facebook first. That means that over time, you won't need to use Facebook to use other service. And as our new brand starts following up the product, I hope that people come to know the Meta brand and the future that they stand for. The company also unveiled a new sign at its headquarters, replacing thumb-like logo with a blue infinity shape. Meta will also begin trading under a new stock ticker MVRS starting December 1st. Ronaldo wrote on Instagram, delighted to announce we are expecting twins. Our hearts are full of love. We cannot wait to meet you. The 37-year-old Manchester United and Portugal star, who is already the father of 4 children. The post was accompanied by the photo of couple laying the bed with Ronaldo holding up the double understone for the camera. The footballer's eldest son, Cristiano Jr., was born in June 2010 to a surrogate. 7 years old later, this June 2017, Ronaldo became the father of the twins Eva and Matthew in the same way. Elena Martina was born in November 2017, but the first child began his union with Rodriguez. Before ending, we go through Euro-Bangla City SATV News headlines again. BIWTA decides to bring the ship Rustom on the 3rd day to rescue title ferry Amanat Shah capsized at Paturia. Communal Politics said Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anisul Haq. Kumilla Court extends remand of Iqbal and 3 others for 5 more days in 2 cases filed over placing Quran at Durga Puja venue. You are up to date with the Euro-Bangla City SATV News, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.